Asteria frowns slightly and then raises an arm. It's time to go, the Apella awaits us. Apella says, Adine Odgar is at the gate. Socrates Dionysus is at the gate. Asteria looks around, noticing some familiar faces missing. Apella says, Adine Odgar is at the gate. Asteria says, warm greetings and welcome, command and citizens of Sparta. You may all be seated, she says while standing in the center of the hall and embracing with her gaze the crowd gathered there. Asteria takes a few moments pause and then resumes speaking. Once again the task of leading this assembly falls on my shoulders. I hope to conduct it in a worthy manner with your help, for Sparta and our queen. Asteria then prepares to deliver her speech, which she will say herself without the help of any scroll. Citizens of Sparta, sons of Lacedaemon. She begins her speech by calling the attention of those present. Priestess says, "Are you discussing something?" Apella says, "Anejka Ceres is at the gate."
Anejka says, enters the Apella hall in a hurry, nodding to gathered Spartans, then sits on her throne.
Asteria, surprised, turns her gaze to the queen who just entered the hall. Herida salutes. Here, queen.
Mineya says, "Here, queen."
Socrates salutes.
Asteria says, "I took the liberty to open this assembly, for we were in the dark to know if you could make it or not."
Anejka salutes.
Mineya nods her head in greeting.
Anejka says, please continue, ambassador. Some state matters keep me longer away than I thought. I am glad our weekly Apella has started.
Asteria says, "Now that your majesty is here, my presence is unnecessary. I may take my seat back."
Anejka says, smiles at the response, I will gladly listen to your speech, sister.
Asteria raises a smile and says, "Let it be so then. Let me start it over for you." Citizens of Sparta, sons of Lacedaemon, she repeats once more, addressing the crowd again. Today we gather in Apella to deliberate on the fate of our polis. But before our voices are raised in this assembly, let us meditate on a truth that the gods have revealed to us through the deeds of the divine Heracles. The poets narrate that among the 12 labors imposed by fate on the son of Zeus, the most humiliating was the cleaning of King Augeas' stables. Imagine, the hero who had strangled the Nemean lion, who had killed the 9-headed Hydra, found himself forced to shovel mountains of dung accumulated over 30 years. What lesson does this paradox hold? It teaches us that greatness does not come from refusing the lowest tasks, but from accepting them with the same discipline with which one faces the most glorious battles. Just as Heracles could not become immortal without first getting his hands dirty, so none of us can aspire to arate without first engaging in the humblest and most modest tasks.
Socrates says he didn't actually shovel any dung.
Asteria says, when we deliberate today, let us remember that every great decision arises from the patience to attend to even the most prosaic details, from the willingness to tackle problems that others avoid, from the courage to get one's hands dirty for the good of Sparta. And whoever is not willing to do this is surely not worthy to sit among the equals in the Apella, she adds a moment later in a firm tone.
Socrates says Heracles diverted the nearby river to wash it all away.
Asteria says, with these words I declare the session open. May the gods grant us strength and courage in battle.
Anejka says, Hail Sparta. Hail Sparta. Haru. Haru. Hail Sparta.
Priestess says, are you discussing something?
Anejka says, Hail Sparta. Haru. Haru.
Asteria says, Sparta blessed by the gods to protect us forever. Haro. Priestess says, are you worshipping?
Mineya says, Aro. Aro.
Asteria says, I let it you now, queen.
Anejka says, smiles. Looks at the scrolls, then puts them aside. Who is recording today's meeting?
Mineya offers herself.
Anejka says, "All right, Ephor, thank you."
Mineya starts to take notes.
Anejka says, "To begin our Apella meeting, I invite a harp player to grace us with their music. Who among you will volunteer?"
Mineya raises her hand again.
Anejka says, claps her hand in joy.
Mineya nods and gets up and goes to the center of the room.
Anejka says, "We will have some nice music again here. Please go on, dear Mineya."
Mineya looks at the instrument as if counting the number of strings, and with her fingertips she plays a melody.
Asteria listens to the music with great attention, enticed by the sweet melody wafting through the air.
Mineya enjoys playing this zither. TS sound is magical. Maya play other sweet melody?
Anejka says, looks with admiration at Ephor as she plays, resting her head on the throne back, relaxing after hard day on road as she wasn't even sure if she will be able to make it today. Now just closing her eyes and enjoying soft music.
Mineya smiles and plays something happier to alive the mood in the room. Mineya hopes everyone is enjoying these melodies.
Anejka says, asterisk Apella asterisk.
Asteria claps hands.
Anejka says, "Thank you for the gift of music and inner peace you gave us today, Ephor Mineya. You may return to your seat."
Asteria says, "Whatever instrument you place your hands on, you are always able to draw sweet melodies from it. Ephor," she says admired.
Mineya ran out of repertoire and is grateful for the applause. Eurede. Asterisco asterisco salutes asterisco asterisco.
Anejka salutes. Her focus then shifts to the next task at hand. With a commanding presence, she addresses the room. "I now summon Hieros, Socrates and Lami to lead the Apella opening prayers," she proclaims, waiting for them to step forward and begin their invocations.
Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods. To Heracles. Heracles, stout-hearted and mighty, powerful Titan, strong-handed, indomitable, author of valiant deeds, you change your form, O everlasting and kindly Father of time. Ineffable, wild, Lord of all to whom many pray, all-conquering and meddlesome, archer and seer. Omnivorous begetter of all, and most sublime helper, who, for the sake of men, subdued and tamed savages' races, because you desired peace, which brings dazzling honors and nurtures youths. Self-grown, unwearying, bravest child of earth. You hurled your primeval thunderbolts, O illustrious Paean. Round your head dawn and dark night cling, and your 12 deeds of valor stretch from east to west.
Lilia says, "Here queen and esteemed Spartan Lilia bows."
Socrates says, immortal, world-wise, boundless and irrepressible, come, O blessed, bringing all charms against disease, with club in hand, drive evil bane away, and with your poisonous darts ward off cruel death.
Mineya looks at the newcomer with curiosity and smiles kindly at her.
Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for Heracles.
Anejka says, nods at Lilia as she listened to the prayers.
Socrates says, I now call on Priestess Lami to say opening Apella prayers.
Priestess shouts, Hestia, you who tend the holy house of the Lord Apollo, the far shooter at goodly Pytho, with soft oil dripping ever from your locks, come now into this house, come, having one mind with Zeus the All-Wise. Draw near, and withal bestow grace upon my song. We offer you a libation of sweet honeyed wine. Hail Almighty Zeus the Thunderer, hail all the gods of Olympus. We offer you a libation of sweet honeyed wine. May the gods bless all in attendance of these prayers.
Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods.
Priestess says, Are you worshipping?
Socrates salutes.
Anejka says, after the prayers conclude, she nods in acknowledgement to Hieros and Lami, recognizing their devotion. I am truly grateful for the prayers, Hieros and Lami. Anejka salutes. I summon Ambassador Asteria to deliver both the army and management reports.
Asteria nods and rises from her seat. Herda salutes.
Anejka salutes.
Asteria says, First, I must inform you about the progress of our population and the general condition of the city.
Anejka says, nods as she listens.
Asteria says, as for our population, no strangers have passed through our sacred gates these days. The roads leading to the city remain quiet, and our guardians report no movements of foreigners or new citizens requesting hospitality. With your permission, I would now inform this honored assembly of what goes on in and out of Hellas.
Anejka says, permission granted.
Asteria smiles respectfully and begins her report. I wish to begin by informing you that I obeyed your command, O Queen, and went to the sacred sanctuary of Delphi, looking for our revered oracle to question her about the mysterious demise of the nomadic Gokturk, that people of horsemen who vanished like mist at the rising of Helios, leaving no trace of themselves or their flocks. Asteria, her face becomes more serious and she lowers her voice slightly. But having reached the foothills of Parnassus, I discovered that the oracle had already embarked on a journey to unknown destinations, leaving without saying when she would return to her temple, she says as she approaches a few steps closer, her eyes shining with a special light.
Anejka says, watches Asteria, her expression calm but focused. You have done well, Asteria, in heeding the call of duty and seeking out Delphi's sacred light, but the disappearance of the Gokturk is no small matter. Please speak now of what the oracle revealed to you. The oracle gone from her sacred seat, without word or sign. Sometimes even absence can be an answer. Tell us, sister, did you find any trace, any whisper in Delphi winds that might guide our understanding?
Asteria nods, slightly nervous because things didn't go as she expected. As I arrived, I asked about her, O Queen, but a priestess there informed me that the oracle departed just a little before my arrival, and she left no hints of where her steps could lead her. And you are right. We are not handing a small matter.
Anejka says, nods slowly, her gaze turning momentarily to the horizon as if seeking signs carried on the winds themselves. Turns her face to Asteria and says, Anejka says, so dear sister, the path closes just as you arrive. The fates weave tightly when the gods wish to test our patience or sharpen our senses. But not be troubled, Asteria, even the silence of Delphi bears weight. The oracle departure was not by chance. Maybe something stirs beyond what eyes can see. You did what was asked, and more. Please remain watchful. Sometimes the answer follows seeker.
Asteria opens wide her eyes, saying at once, I got anyway one answer, O Queen, even if it didn't come from our oracle's lips. The immortal gods have not abandoned your faithful servant, my queen. As I took uncertain steps within the sanctuary, Zephyrus himself whispered enigmatic words, which resounded among the stones consecrated to Apollo Pythias. I have taken note of them to submit them to your judgment, she says, extracting a scroll from the folds of her dress.
Mineya listens with curiosity.
Asteria says. After closing her eyes briefly, as if remembering that moment, she begins to read some mysterious words. Where the eagle chases the shadow of the fleeing moon, and the noonday sun never touches the ground. What was scattered has gathered, like grains of sand shaken by the wind. Asteria lifts her gaze to the queen, unrolling her scroll and saying, "This is what the gods have chosen to reveal to me, my queen. Now I await your wisdom to decipher their words." Priestess says, "Are you worshipping?"
Anejka says, as Asteria speaks, at the mention of Zephyrus, a faint shimmer of golden light begins to gather around Asteria, flickering like sun rays caught in a breeze, wrapping around her form in a gentle spiral.
Asteria rolls eyes, surprised and confused by that light flickering unexpectedly all around her.
Anejka says, the west wind has spoken, and the stones of Apollo's house carried the message. This is no small gift, Asteria. The gods rarely speak where they are not heard. You were chosen to hear what even the oracle could not utter.
Mineya smiles and is surprised. The ambassador seems enlightened.
Anejka says, "The gods have chosen their moment and their messenger. What reaches us through wind and stone is no less sacred than a voice from a mortal mouth. You have been the vessel, Asteria, and for that, you have my respect and the gratitude of Spartan Empire."
Asteria shivers hearing the words uttered by the queen. Myself? Oh queen, but I am not sure if I am the right person to convey such message.
Anejka says, "Well sister, next days will hay. I think what lies beneath. Show. No one under 18. Sorry gesture."
Asteria says, no problem. Your words honor me. If what you say is the truth, then I feel compelled to unveil the mystery that is hidden behind that message, even if I think it is beyond my abilities. That's why I hoped you could shed light on it. She says, still appalled at the prospect to be chosen by the gods for such relevant task. But only those mysterious words I can offer for this night, O Queen. No more has been revealed to me yet.
Anejka says, "We will think about them and seek guidance of our Ephors to decipher the meaning fully, but I am truly believing you are the key." God's favor was shown on you today in this room, sister. And moreover, sister, what the gods begin, we will see through. You will not walk this path alone.
Asteria says, "I am in the dark as to how I can be of use in this affair, O Queen, but the ways of the gods are inscrutable. Perhaps clarity will be provided in the coming days. I will do what I can."
Anejka says, "The gods test us all, Asteria. Trust that your courage will light the way and we will meet whatever comes together." Is there anything else you wish to report?
Asteria loses herself for a moment in her own thoughts, lost in memories of strange visions that haunted her nights from early youth. Perhaps the queen is right and there is more in her than eyes can see. She nods her head and smiles to the queen, saying, "Let it be then, may there will guide my moves." "No, my queen, that is all from me for this night."
Anejka says, "Be assured that you are never alone. I thank you for your reports tonight."
Asteria says, "Thank you, my queen, this is all the encouragement I need."
Anejka says, smiles. If nothing else, then you may return to your seat.
Asteria says, "Herida," salutes.
Anejka salutes. I now call upon Ephor Mineya to provide council reports.
Mineya stands up and steps forward to present her reports. Eurede. Asterisco asterisco salutes asterisco asterisco.
Anejka salutes.
Mineya takes her scroll, grabs it with both hands and she unrolls it. Interesting what the ambassador reported. She hopes to be enlightened as well and to be able to help decipher such a mysterious message. She will think about it. Mineya smiles and starts.
Anejka says, nods.
Priestess says, "Are you discussing something?"
Mineya is ready to report on events since the last Apella until today. She takes a breath and begins to read. These past Thursday 5th Sparta once again enjoyed belly dancing and she reported the following on the day. Report released by Ephor Mineya on subject belly dance and workshop. During more than 2 hours Spartan and visitors enjoyed belly dancing, swaying the silks with Ephor Mineya's fusion rhythms.
Asteria meets Ephor's gaze and smiles to herself. She might need help indeed for such task.
Mineya will do her best. Mineya goes on reading. She shared also the part 2 of how ancient Greeks spent the leisure time. She wants to thank you for your interest as it is an incentive to continue with these workshops while we enjoy belly dancing. Mineya pauses briefly and continues reading.
Asteria says, "That was really enlightening, Ephor, and surely the queen loved it as we did."
Mineya says, this last Friday mythology lesson led by our queen took place and delighted us with her wise knowledge on this subject. These times she talked about the lives of Circe, Medea and Cassandra. 3 extraordinary women of magic, wisdom, and fate. Through their stories, she reflected on gender roles, power, and the price of truth in ancient myth.
Anejka says, smiles.
Mineya clears her throat a little and continues. Mineya reads that once again the muses again enveloped Sparta with the art of rhyme that fills the poet's mouth with emotion and captivates the listener. Bards' gathering took place, which was so well attended and all enjoyed with poems selection with 5 readers and 8 guests at time, hosting by Lilia and Saberman.
Anejka says, and Mineya, I liked of course your workshop. It's necessary to talk about such things, as we are the cultural center. Though Athens like to think they are. But well, it's Sparta. It always has been.
Asteria nods and claps her hands.
Mineya says, we may be strong in the fight but we are educated and intelligent. How else can we win battles? Mineya goes on.
Anejka says, smiles once again at the passionate words of Ephor.
Mineya says, and finally. Mineya is going to read a reminder about the events taking place during this week. On Wednesday, ballet dance at the Agora with Hieros Socrates, who will make you have a nice time with his amazing Greek songs. On Sunday, once again the Bards gathering will take place and will be hosted by Lilia and Saber.
Anejka says, Apella USE.
Mineya says, later Counselor Aelangel will shed her skills with the sword to train in the arts of combat the brave Spartans.
Asteria claps hands. Priestess says, "Are you discussing something?"
Mineya encourages everyone to attend these events and bring your friends and family who are sure to love it. May has nothing more to add and closes her scroll.
Anejka says, thank you dear Mineya for your reports. They are always appreciated.
Mineya smiles.
Anejka says, you may now return to your seat. Anejka salutes.
Mineya says, Eurede. Asterisco asterisco salutes asterisco asterisco. Mineya retires to her seat.
Anejka says, at the almost end of today's Apella, I would like to bring words that once were said, fate remains the counsel of men and gods. Fate, dear Spartans, is not the blind chance of the world, but the wisdom shared between mortals and the divine. It guides our choices and binds our destinies. In this union of human will and godly decree, we find purpose and strength to face the unknown. I now call upon Hieros Socrates to offer Apella closing prayers.
Priestess shouts. I will sing of Zeus, chiefest among the gods and greatest, all-seeing, the Lord of all, the fulfiller who whispers words of wisdom to Themis as she sits leaning towards him. Be gracious, all-seeing son of Kronos, most excellent and great. We offer you a libation of sweet honeyed wine. May Zeus and the gods bless this city, its king, its princess regent, its royals, and all of its citizens. We offer you a libation of sweet honeyed wine. May the gods bless all who attended these prayers.
Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods. To Asclepios. Asclepios, Lord Paean, healer of all, you charm away the suffering of men in pain. Come, mighty and soothing, bring health, and put an end to sickness and the harsh fate of death.
Priestess says, are you discussing something?
Socrates says, Helper, blessed spirit of growth and blossoming, you ward off evil, honored and mighty scion of Phoebos Apollon. Enemy of disease, whose blameless consort is Hygeia, come, O blessed one, a savior and bring life to a good end. Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods. Socrates salutes.
Anejka salutes. Emoticon surpreso. RAWR information. Thank you, Ephor, your prayers, Hieros. Anejka says, here is that newest creation. King Leonidas statue.
Asteria opens wide her eyes. It looks great.
Anejka says, still needs some works on it. But I have it shipped to your home Spartans, winky face. Everyone should have one. Of this great king.
Asteria says, thank you, Queen.
Mineya says, it looks amazing.
Anejka says, we really need museum build ASAP. Meanwhile, statues are scattered in front of King's villa. As there is no place inside for it. Giggles. I thank you all who attended Apella today. Now please escort me back home, Spartans.
Apella says, Anejka Ceres is at the gate. Pirate says, hello, Mineya.
Hello, Asteria.
Achilles says, Hark Queen Anne, you will never do anything in this world without courage. is the greatest quality of the mind, next to honor. Asteria, I fear neither battle nor death, but I fear the day you are not by my side. Hark Socrates Dionysus. The tongue has no bones, but bones it crushes.
Anejka says, I wish you all wonderful evening.
Priestess says, hello Anejka.
Mineya says, wish you great evening too.
Asteria says, I wish you the same, may gods watch over you. Herida salutes.
Anejka salutes.
Mineya says, Eurede. Asterisco asterisco salutes asterisco asterisco.
Socrates says, good night.
Anejka says, waves and vanishes behind the doors of her villa.
Asteria says, time to take the path toward the embassy, my scrolls await me. Herida salutes.
Mineya says, good night Socrates.